Hey, so we're finally back.
It's been a while.
It's been a long time,
Oh yeah.
even though I haven't been employed.
No, I've barely been employed.
No, but you got married, and you
true.
bought a house, and you've had a lot of work to do with that stuff.
Woo!
So anyway, today we finally have something to talk about. We're going to talk about Fight Night Round 4.
A very, very good new game that we've been waiting for a long time because we were big fans of the first one.
Totally. I mean, we've been waiting a long time. We played a lot of Fight Night Round 3. And there were, some complaints about that game. They fixed some of them. Some of them I'm not sure about because one of our big complaints with Fight Night 3 was the online play, and we haven't played it online. So
Haven't had it that long.
we can't really review that feature.
We can do that later.
So let's start off with the most obvious thing that's great about the game, the graphics.
The graphics rule of this game. It looks so good, it's unbelievable. You can see the muscles on the fighters.
The sweat, I mean, the impact of the punches. I mean, they have like scars and dry patches on their elbows. I mean, it really is a beautiful game.
And we thought the first game looked good, but after playing the demo, we
It
went
kind of
back.
looks like crap.
It was horrible.
So, which leads us to one of the number one problems with the game is the load times. I mean,
They're
the load times are
terrible.
horrible. I mean, it makes you go, those elevator rides in Mass Effect aren't that bad.
No, I know. It's so horrible. And in fact, I tried loading it to my hard drive to see if it would speed it up.
Makes no difference.
No difference.
None whatsoever. It's just quieter. So then the next point that I think is really strong is the punching control system.
It's very good. They improved it a lot. It seems it's easy.
Well, it
Not
seems more
easy, but-
organic. It seems like it's actually like that left joystick is kind of like a guy standing there, so it kind of flows the way the punches, I mean, what you do for a hook and what you do for a body shot and stuff, it feels really organic.
Yeah, being able to body shot while standing up is a huge improvement.
Yeah. Which leads us to another problem with it is the learning curve on it. It is a way higher learning curve than Fight Night Round 3. And especially when you get into the single player legacy mode. I mean, fighting against the fighters when you're building a fighter and stuff, you have to block. If you don't block,
it's a totally
you're dead.
different game in that aspect. When you play with another person, you don't have to block.
No, you can just have
Another fighter-
punch fest. And also your fighters are maxed out then. I mean, it's very different.
And then coming from the controls, you got the training sessions, which are too hard.
Yeah, they're much more difficult than the first one. I mean, there are more of them, which kind of makes sense. But they're a little too difficult. And especially when your fighter is just starting out, because they're even harder to do then. I mean, especially like the heavy punch stuff, like the heavy punching bag things, they're just difficult.
It's ridiculous because you can practice, but when you practice, you have a fully loaded character, and it's not that hard. But then you do it with your character,
And you're a bum.
Suck.
It tells you you're a bum. So that sucks. And then I think the biggest problem with what they've changed control-wise is the getting up. I mean,
impossible.
the just mashing a button to get up is kind of lame. And, to have the two joysticks play in a different way, it kind of works, but it kind of doesn't. I mean, if you get knocked down the second time, you're kind of lucky if you can get up. If you get knocked down a third time, forget about it. I mean, and that could be like several rounds away.
Yeah, it's just a third time and you're down, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's
because
not
you
like
have
it's a
time to get
TKO.
up.
I mean, so that's kind of lame. I mean, I honestly think that they suggest the idea that they go to like more of the free throw on a lot of the basketball things where you pull the two triggers to get a balance and then, you hit the button to get up or you push the joystick to get up.
Yeah,
it
should
seems like that would be a little more...
You just fall over too often in this. You think you're up, and then you're down.
Yeah, I mean, you could be like, on your feet and he's starting to, and then all of a sudden he falls over. So, like, the biggest problem, well, yeah, pretty much the biggest problem with the thing.
The system crash.
Well, yeah, I mean, it affects some users, not me.
Affects me. First, the demo
Sucker.
didn't work for me. The demo just kept locking up. Then my system starts locking up. I can't even start playing the stupid game. I was so angry. Had to go online and find stuff. They told me I had to unconnect the Ethernet cable, start the game, and then connect it again.
Ethernet?
Ethernet.
Oh, Ethernet.
And anyways, that works. But then I figured it out that it's the sharing music from the computer. So if I turn
That's
that
because all
off,
your illegal downloads.
do not download illegal music. Used to.
It's just God punishing you then.
Anyways,
God,
I turned my
I
music
have no
off and it
problem.
works.
I know, and it's funny because I have mine hooked to my Apple so I can listen through my iTunes and
And
my
so do I.
media PC. So I got two things going on, and I have no problems whatsoever.
Yeah, and mine just doesn't work. They don't know why. If they think it's something to do with stuff on your hard drive,
I'm telling
I
you,
don't
it's
know.
God punishing you.
Come on, let's fight.
You really don't want to do that. So anyway, then there are a few things that are just kind of puzzling about the game. Some things that maybe they didn't really think about or left out. And, for Fight Night Round 5, I guess, maybe these are things you can add. The between the round minigame thing, I mean, they changed it. It's not a minigame. You know, you get points for the fight depending on how well you do. And then you can spend them in 3 different categories: damage recovery, health recovery, and stamina recovery.
And you mostly need stamina.
And it's kind of good, but it would kind of be cool if there was a mini game to that even, so that, you know, you can get more or do worse. You know, I mean, it's just kind of boring just to pick it and push your button.
And it's how well you're doing in the round is how many points you get, which is interesting.
But if you're getting your butt kicked, then you're getting your butt kicked.
Yeah, and you don't get enough points to come back, so...
Yeah, I mean, which kind of works and it kind of doesn't, because, you know, part of your recovery is, yeah, your fighter, and if you're getting your butt kicked, you're not going to recover as much between rounds, but it's also your corner. So, I mean, that's kind of why the minigame thing worked for me before.
Yeah, and it is kind of a missed feature.
Yeah. The other thing is with the roster, there's a lot of... there's not very many in the lighter weight categories.
Yeah,
there's a lot of heavyweights.
There's only one fighter.
People know them. Yeah, I mean, there's one guy.
One fighter. So if you're fighting in that class, you can fight with one guy.
And then it seems like they missed out on a few people in the roster. There's no Evander Holyfield. There's no Oscar De La Hoya. I mean, it might be money issues, you know, whatever.
Or
I think it's the downloadable
they're
content.
Charge
they added a store feature.
Yeah, and the rumor
guess.
is they're going to add customizable button mapping.
Yeah.
Because right now you have to use the sticks, and they say they're going to add that. And if they might charge for it, which is ridiculous. It should have come with it.
And I got to say, honestly, the most puzzling thing to me is when you build your fighter and everything, you give them the points and everything, which work in the Fight Now mode, but they don't work in the Legacy mode. But when you do the Legacy mode, there is no initial point setup. It just gives you a point setup. Which, you know, I mean, I guess because of the style of your fighter or whatever, maybe it assigns the points, but they're all really close together.
Yeah, so you don't get much customization.
And let's say, I mean, you know, just because you're a beginning boxer doesn't mean you can't have a badass, like, right hook and have, like, a weak jab. I mean, you know, it would just be nice if you could spread your points around yourself a little bit.
Plus, it'd be nice that you actually gain points for fighting instead of just for training, because the training is so hard. Lots of time you lose points, and you know, I think you should gain some points for fighting, not just training.
I mean, you know, you should gain some experience, and you should use those points in between rounds.
Yeah, you should get it for
not in between rounds, but in between bouts.
Yeah, you should get it for both. You should get it for training and for fighting. Just getting it for the impossible training makes it too hard. My character just doesn't build up.
So, I mean, what would you rate this game? We've been doing the price thing, so what would you pay for this game?
I've paid full price, obviously, as did you. So
yeah.
I think it's worth it. I mean, there's problems. I wish it was $10 cheaper.
Well, I wish every game was $10 cheaper, but I have to say, you know, $60 is a good price for this game if you were a fan of the first one. And you're not going to give up right away because it is a little bit trickier, but I thoroughly am enjoying it.
Yes, it's a very fun game, and it's got depth, so it's worth it.
So anyway, I'm Jerry.
I'm Jonah. Let's fight.
Yeah, bring it on. Oh. Fight Night Round 4. They got 4 of those games already? When the hell are they going to do some foxy boxing? I mean, seriously, come on, guys. We want some women, some jumbling around. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. Foxy boxing. Come on, EA, get on the ball.